John brought something, which this is 2 weeks in a row for you, buddy. Bringing some bourbon over here, and this is one we've had a different variation from this company, but this one here is Old Pepper Distillery. This is a bottle and bond, so obviously 100 proof because it's a bottle and bond, and coming out of Lexington, Kentucky. It's Kentucky's oldest brand. It's funny. I saw someone selling them on like Facebook or something. It was like an Old Pepper from like the 70s or something like that.
Nice.
It was they were asking
Tastes
pretty penny. I felt like. But yes, distilled bottle at the historic Pepper Distillery in Lexington, Kentucky, I mean, should I read a little on? You think or no?
Sure.
Lexington, Kentucky. It was initially built in 1880 by Colonel James E. Pepper. He was the third generation to produce Old Pepper whiskey, the oldest and best brand of whiskey made in Kentucky. It was there that Colonel Pepper produced his famous high-grade whiskey, of which he was a flamboyant promoter. What do you mean flamboyant promoter? Was he like,
hey, try my whiskey.
This whiskey now.
This whiskey's good. I'll give you boobs.
Indeed, legend has it that the old-fashioned cocktail was invented in his honor. Interesting. Yeah. Which he subsequently
that was part of our episode
to the world during his frequent stays in New York City.
Yes, we did talk about that.
Yes, the distillery operated until 1967, when both it and the brand were abandoned for 50 years. After a decade of historical research and renovation, the brand was relaunched and the distillery was rebuilt, filling its first barrel in 2017. So they're fairly new now as a newer distillery. I think I remember hearing this story.
Okay.
Where they basically try to replicate or duplicate
the old school,
the old stuff. Yes.
Okay.
The new owners or whatever, and they tried to basically resurrect it and everything. Well, I gotta pour it, right? Yeah, maybe we should drink some.
And you mentioned it is a bottle and bond, so it's 100 proof.
Yes.
So a little backstory. I got this for Christmas. My sister, my siblings and their... Wow.
Sorry. There we go.
Yeah. Got me in our annual grab bag. Instead of buying for everybody, we do a little Secret Santa between, my wife, my siblings, all that. And my sister, knowing that I like bourbon, went to a liquor store and asked the lady working, like, what's a good bourbon for a gift?
Yeah.
And she asked what I like.
Yeah.
She said, my sister said, I don't know. He likes it all. So the lady says, I like the my husband drinks the Old Pepper and she said, all right, I'll take it. And then when I went back to that same liquor store, I told the lady, I said, I'm the one that my sister bought the bourbon for. And she's like, did you like it? You should talk to my husband, blah, 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 blah. And it was a good choice.
Yeah. Well, it's a safe choice, too.
Safe choice, yeah.
Because at 100 proof, it's not going to be super boozy, but it's not going to be too under boozy, if that's a word.
I don't know what this bottle usually goes for, but I believe in the store there, I believe it was 70.
Yeah.
70?
Okay. And we had I just grabbed it, we had the James E.
That's
Pepper
the James E.
decanter.
Pepper, yeah,
yes.
I remember that.
This one is on a lot of lists for best of 2024, I feel like, as far as...
it's a beautiful bottle.
Yeah, it's a cool bottle. Yeah, definitely cool bottle. So let's give this a nose, man. Brown sugar.
I get a little apple.
Yeah, I can see that. Spiced apple.
Yeah, spiced apple, right? Like a spicy cinnamon apple.
Apple pie, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Candy. It's got good nose,
I feel
man.
like the oak. You could smell the oak a little bit.
Yeah. Most of the time, you're going to smell some of that oak, I feel like.
Cinnamon, but we will cinnamon with the apple.
Yeah.
I just touched my upper lip. There's so much in here just to smell it.
One day we're going to pour it in our nose. Cheers. All right. Your sister's done good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I've had it before, but it tastes...
Yeah.
It tastes better when you're drinking it with somebody. You ever notice that?
Sometimes. Maybe it's because we just had an Underberg.
Underberg.
It's gonna taste. It's like you've watched Beer Fest, and they drink the goat's piss, and they said anything after that, it's gonna taste delicious, and drink it much faster.
I'm not getting any burn. It's very smooth.
I am getting a little heat.
It's not crazy.
Yeah.
The flavor point is there.
Yeah. I mean, as far as it's slight color's pretty nice. I would say it's a light to medium kind of color.
Yeah. Yeah. A little darker than the Whiskey Thief.
That we had. Week. Yeah. Light to medium. I would say that was light, and this is light to medium.
Yeah.
And it's
still not very viscous, though.
Not super viscous. But
I get a little bit of a... I could taste the apple a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Green apple with the cinnamon.
Yeah, definitely.
Got that little spice to it.
Yeah.
A little bit of vanilla.
And that oakiness. I think the nose matches the palate.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, I feel like I get a little rye in there, though.
Well, there might be in the mash. Who knows? Yeah. I'm not sure what does it say. Yeah, I don't see.
Well, my new favorite page is Breaking Bourbon. Let's see if I go on there. Overall, it's lighter in nature. Old Pepper Bourbon Bottle and Bond is a traditional bourbon that doesn't reveal its spicy underpinnings until the very end.
Yeah, I could see that.
The mash bill is undisclosed.
That's what I was just about to look up. Right.
It could be one of four. 51% corn, 45% raw rye, 40% malted rye. 51% corn, 40% malted. Yeah, it's unclosed. They have 4 mashes that they use, so it could be any one of those 4 mashes.
All right.
It was good. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think this would be, for me personally, I would say this would be like a daily go-to, like a nice evening sipper, you know? It's one that if I would probably find myself grabbing more often than not compared to some of my other things, because it's just like, it just seems like a nice go-to. And it's got nice heat. Not like too in-your-face boozy, It's
nice with the water.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna do a dropper. See how we got.
No, I told my sister I would shout her out and let her know when we do it on the episode. Good choice. Thank you. Merry Christmas to me. I'll be enjoying this for a while to come.
Yeah, this is solid. I like it, man. Very good. Very good.
I'm not gonna lie. I opened it that night.
Yeah.
Because I wanted her to try it as well.
Yeah, did she drink
it? Touched
that?
her lips, and she was like, how do you do this? My dad, same thing. What are you thinking? How do you do it? What are you thinking?
It's not something that just happens.
No, it took me a long time.
Yeah. I mean, even, we've said the story many times, even when you had an old-fashioned for the first time, you're like,
Yep, I had to water that down a lot.
And, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's everyone, though. When I had my first cocktail or whatever, but then when what happens, I find that towards the end when the ice does melt and it does get a little watered down, you're like, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And you start to develop some taste for it, and then it gets even
Well, that's what I told my sister and my father. I said, I drink it, I drink it right out of the bottle. I go, maybe if this was cold or if there was an ice cube or watered it down, you might like it.
Yeah. For me, I guess a lot of it with whiskey had started with, it's going to sound silly, but going to weddings and stuff, open bars.
Yeah.
I used to be like, I'm not getting beer if I have open bar. I want to get something,
advantage.
So even if I didn't like it, I was doing my Irish whiskey and I was drinking a lot of that. I was like, even if I did like a Jameson and ginger or something like, or like a Jack and Coke or whatever, I was kind of getting a little bit of a taste for it.
Yeah, I was doing that with the Captain Morgan. Captain Morgan and ginger was my wedding go-to.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, being a bourbon guy, as far as bourbon beers, like your Goose Islands or your.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a big fan of the bourbon, like the bourbon stouts or this.
Same.
I don't know what it is. Why I can like bourbon so much in this form, but I don't like it when it's mixed with some of that. Yeah.
Same.
I had a guy real quick. I know I had a guy the other day. I ordered an old fashioned, and it was a Mexican restaurant. He's like, "Oh, you want a tequila old fashioned?" I was like, "No, I don't do tequila." He's like, "You got to get the anejo or whatever." He's like, It's not like in your face tequila. Like that very tequila-y. I don't know a better way to put it. But I was like, I don't know. I'll stick to my whiskey.
wanted to do the tequila things. I feel like the tequila thing now is what the bourbon was maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Bad things happen when tequila. It's just
Apparently, bad things happen when bourbon comes.
Yeah, that's true. Bad things just happen.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into something else.
No, I hear you. Yeah,
Even last night, I went to a Mexican restaurant last night, and they had old fashioned on the menu.
Yeah.
They had one with Angel's Envy, and they had one with a tequila.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'd try a sip of it before I bought. I wouldn't be opposed to trying a sip. But back to this old pepper, solid stuff.
Solid.
Thanks to your sister for giving that. That's
Ken finally likes something I brought.
No, I like that.
He fumbled his. Yeah, I like the
Good stuff.
Cheers.
All right.
Thank you.